We're talking love and relationships on today's Raw Fusion.
Typical night at the clubs.
Let's get raw.
You don't want to fall in love.
Let's get raw.
You got the fusion in your blood.
Let's get raw.
And to my ladies and my thugs.
Let's get raw. And to the haters on the scene.
Let's get raw.
Don't be mad cause we got green.
Let's get raw.
You should be trying to make the team.
Let's get raw.
Cause we taking everything.
Let's get raw.
Raw Fusion.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a real treat today. I have a friend of mine, goes back to high school. Her name is Cinnamon. She has a bunch of things going on. We're going to talk about that today. But the fun thing is we're going to be able to talk about love and relationships. And I guarantee you this is going to be a different conversation. So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to Raw Fusion, Cinnamon. How you doing, Cinnamon?
I'm great, and yourself?
I'm terrific. A good one. Let's start with the hot topic question of the day. Why do you think that men and women seem to be at such odds with each other in relationships these days?
I mean, when you say odds, what exactly do you mean by odds?
I'm on social media a lot, obviously. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it seems to be everyone has some kind of relationship issue. And, you know, you have that age-old thing where it's like all men ain't shit. All women ain't shit. Why do you feel like it seems like at times we're so far apart from each other? Why do you think that is?
Well, I've always had a saying. Different people bring out different things in different people.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
So one person will bring out the freak in you and the other one...
It's a possibility.
Dry.
It's a possibility. All a possibility.
Okay, go ahead.
But I honestly feel like when you're dealing with a person of the opposite sex, it really doesn't even have to apply to that, but when you're dealing with a person of the opposite sex, that specific individual may just bring out something different in you as opposed to another individual could bring out a different person or a different reaction. I honestly think that relationships really aren't difficult. People make it difficult. And if you're going into a relationship, you have to be relationship or even / marriage. You have to be, because I consider that, I mean, that's still a relationship. You've just made a paper documentation.
Huge commitment.
A huge commitment. Well, you're making a commitment when you're in a relationship, but when you've entered into marriage, you've made until not a permanent commitment on paper.
A business decision.
It could be that as well.
It's not as well.
Okay.
Because the truth of the matter is, you can be dating, I guess if you're not living together. I don't even know if common law still exists, but outside of common law, when you're just dating, you know, there are no houses well, I guess there could be houses split if you're whatever, but there's no
combined.
There's a lot of. I guess you could have joint assets and things of that nature, but
thank you.
But there's a whole lot. There's no alimony. I guess if you have kids, there would be
some form,
child support, some form.
Some form.
But it gets more legal. It's more like a business. You got to start splitting stuff that you necessarily wouldn't be splitting if you're just
in a
boyfriend
relationship.
and girlfriend. That's why I say it's a business. Yeah, that's why I say it's a business decision. Not meaning you're doing it just for the money, but the fact that it becomes a legal difference.
A permanent decision on paper. And then if you decide to diffuse this situation, then we're going to have to follow the legal route in order to define how we're going to make this split decision.
Yeah, because you have to go to the courts and all this kind of stuff, and
that's true.
And when you're in a relationship, you can just say, "Okay, bye."
Not necessarily, but I mean, it sounds easy, but not always that. But okay, but
you have some idiots that won't let go, but
true. But to say all that, your question was as to why they're constantly at odds, and because I feel like if you're going to make a decision to enter into that relationship, then you have to be selfless as opposed to selfish. And sometimes we just tend to be selfish, be it men or women. We have our viewpoint on how we see things and how we feel it should be. We sometimes may put that on the other person, not taking that person's idea or vision in our decision making as well. And I think that's where it presents, the arguments all the time. Because what are we always arguing about? What we feel, or how we feel it should be, or how we feel it should go. And the opposing person is doing the same. I think when you decide to enter into a relationship, you have to sometimes make the concession and say it's not going to be about me at this point. And then you would eliminate a lot of arguments. And then I'm also say too, I think too, like if you're having lots of sex, who has time to argue?
See, there it goes. It's coming out.
It is. I mean, if you're having good sex often, what are we arguing about? What are we going to argue about?
Maybe to argue to have make-up sex?
If that's what floats your boat, you know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do. Make it work.
Angry sex.
If that's that's what you like. If that's how we're doing things. But I think lack of sex, so you laugh. It's true. Lack of sex, I think, could be an issue as to why there are a lot of odds and arguments. And then being selfish as opposed to being selfless. Boom, I solved it. That's it. I solved it. In a nutshell.
You solved the whole thing.
The whole
it's
thing.
over with. We can just end this. We can just end this part.
Done.
Just be selfless and fuck a lot.
Amen.
And there you go.
Yep.
Okay. Well, okay. Then what do you look for, or what are you looking for? You're a single young lady. What are you looking for out of a relationship besides good sex?
Okay.
That's it? That's all you need is good sex and it's over with.
I had to dial myself back. Let me, okay.
Hey, be real. This is raw.
All right.
Keep it raw.
Well, definitely that. I'm looking for compatibility. But if we're compatible in the bedroom,
then everything else is okay.
Everything else is doable.
It brings up another point.
What is that?
I think that men are simplified way too much.
How so?
Well, I see on a lot of, again, social media, you get to eavesdrop because people I remember back in the day, you used to keep shit to yourself.
Right.
And now people just tell all their fucking business to the world or whoever on social media. So you get to see a glimpse. Of course, it's not always the entire truth, but you get to see sometimes a glimpse into other people's relations. And a lot of times you see women talking about they were a good woman, quote unquote. They gave their man everything and they still went out and cheated. I don't know if women know what we consider a good woman or a wifey. I think we're simplified to if you fuck them good, give them a meal, you're done. That's all you need to do.
No, that's not. No, I don't think we all have that expectation. But I do think when it comes down to situations like that, I do think that, be it for men or women, we don't pay attention to the red flags. It's given to you. I think women sometimes have the ability to think that they could love a person through it, and we tend to overlook the red flags. And some men do as well. It could be anything. I mean, it's whatever it is that you know that you're not going to really want to deal with, like communication. If you have found that communication is something that is needed for you to function and to work, and you know that this person doesn't deliver or give you the communication that you need, your decision to continue to pursue and move forward is on you, because you were given those signs. You were given those situations where it did not come across the way that you needed it to come across. So I think sometimes we tend to just overlook those things. A person, and it's an old saying, if a person tells you who you are, who they are, believe them. People give each other signs or insight into who they are. I think that we are all, at some point, not always all the time, guilty of overlooking those things. And then after time has spent, it causes different situations to occur. So, and I'm a firm believer, and I don't know if you've ever read, there's a book called The Five Love Languages.
No, I've never checked that out.
Well, in that book of the five love languages, it basically gives you the 5 levels of the way we display love, or how we perceive love. And everyone's love languages are not equal. It's a very good read. It gives you a breakdown. There it is, the 5 love languages, and how to express your heartfelt commitment to your mate. It was written by Gary Chapman, published in 1992.
It's a guy.
It's a man, but but it was somewhat written from a biblical standpoint. But when I tell you, when you break it down and get an understanding, it makes clear sense. The 5 love languages are words of affirmation. 2nd is quality time. 3 is receiving gifts. 4 is acts of service. And 5 is physical touch. Now, everyone is not equally the same. Say you're in a relationship with someone and your type of love language is you need to hear that person tell you they love you, which is always constantly, you'll hear it expressed from women and men. Women saying, well, he doesn't tell me he loves me, and sometimes I need to hear the words. Well, that man may not necessarily be a person who gives words of affirmation. He might be a person who gives acts of service. He thinks he's letting you know he loves you because he pays the bills, he provides a roof, he makes sure everything is cared for. He takes your car every Saturday to go get your car washed. He takes your car when it has to go get serviced. So it's those types of things. He feels like what he's doing, he's displaying to you his love. But where for her, she's feeling like, okay, bless your heart, see. I don't think that's it. He could, but I don't think that's it.
You may be a car guy.
It's possible. But I hope within that, some acts of service. I hope so.
I get you.
But I know. But I know that, sometimes I think too, the arguing we just may not be speaking the same love language. And then if you get an understanding that, he might not be a person who says it all the time, but his way of doing it is by doing these things. If you're going to have an understanding of who you're with, then, it may ease some of the functions, again, being selfless and not necessarily selfish.
There are women, I think I was watching Divorce Court or something like that.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
And there was a woman on there talking about, he tells me he loves me too much. I can't stand it.
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted to get a divorce because of that. The too good argument.
Yeah,
there are a lot of people that believe if you treat a woman well, that some women, and I may say these things, I don't like generalizations most of the time. So I'm saying some, even if I don't say some. Mm-hmm. If you treat them well or good, too good, they're going to take advantage of you. They're not going to respect you. They're probably going to cheat on you with someone who treats them like shit. So what about that love language? See, I don't listen to men when men talk about relationships. I have an idea.
Okay.
Men don't know shit about women, and women don't know shit about men.
Okay, so
the last person you should ask about a relationship is someone of the same sex.
Okay.
I don't believe in it. Now, I'd say most in that case, they don't know what the hell they're talking about unless they've probably been in a relationship like married for 50 years or something like that. Mm-hmm. I'd probably talk to that man, maybe. But I have female friends. It's not going any further than that. And I've had the benefit of learning from them. And some of that is true. Some women, if you treat them too nicely, they will think you're soft, push over, and they will act accordingly. I know that's not all women.
Okay.
But yeah, some do. And that's from the horse's mouth sometimes. And I believe that, especially when I hear women talk amongst themselves about, yeah, I was a good woman and he did this and this, that, and the third. They don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Okay.
No, they don't, because, I'm going to keep it 100. After about the third time we have sex, that is kind of the breadth of the relationship, meaning that it's just, you breathe. You breathe every day. Mm-hmm. It's nothing special. Well, it's special because you gotta breathe to live. But other than that, you don't think about how many breaths you take a day or something like that. It becomes a routine. It's kind of, okay, we got that. What else do you have? Mm-hmm. For me, that's the biggest thing. Like the first few times, of course, the first time, you're anxious to get it. You know what I mean? You want to see how it is. You want to get up in it. Mm-hmm. The second time, if it was good, you want to double back to make sure that it was as good as you thought it was in the first place. Mm-hmm. And if it is, in the third time, we're done. We're not done having sex, but that no longer becomes a focal point.
Do you feel at this point is where you develop a rhythm or determine if you two are in sync? In other words, you come to that crossroads. So now, if this is something with...
It's not really that, because even if it's not that good, if you have something else, if you have something else that attracts me, I'll probably stay until, because you can develop a sexual relationship. Everybody doesn't like the same thing. Okay. You know what I mean? So there's a learning period. Some people don't like oral sex. Some people love it. Some people, their erogenous zones are in different places. It's a learning curve. Okay. And you have to, if you have to give me a reason to want to continue. To investigate. You know what I mean? And we can get it right, but I need a reason to be there. Because if it's just getting some, I've never really had a problem with getting some. So, it becomes more than that.
So then it's a connection.
Yeah, well, it's always a connection. Anytime you're in a relationship, there's a connection.
But in order to continue.
In order to continue, you have to have something other than just sex.
Right.
And some women think, well, you bust it down, you sloppy nasty, and freaky.
Is that? Okay.
And and you cook a good meal, and that's it. And that's it.
No,
you're a good woman.
Not. No.
I have news for you. Some of your sisters out there.
Oh, bless their hearts. Bless their hearts, because it's not you. In order to continue, you have to have a connection. It's the same for her, though. It has. Sure. It's the same for her. It has to be. I have to. Well, I guess. But then everything we're saying could be implied with men as well and with women. Yeah. And for me, I guess I'm cerebral to an extent. We've got to have conversation. We've got to be able to communicate and be understood on certain things and certain levels. That has to be present. If we're going to be in a relationship. But
mind fucking.
Yeah. You're doing that really before you go physically.
Hopefully. Well, no, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
But it depends on what what we're doing. If we're just fucking, then no. We don't need to be cerebral. I just need you to be physically capable.
Get it hard.
And have it, hello. And and to be able to keep it there. But if we're going to continue forward, then by all means, we've got to be able to communicate. That's not what you're going to be doing entirely all day. No, not all the time.
Right.
But we do have to go to work. We do have to, spend some other quality time. So, but I don't think women really think if they lay it down and if they cook a meal and, they got that man wrapped. I hope not. I hope that's not the thought.
I was looking at a post the other day.
Oh, goodness.
Yesterday, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. And they're running down the whole thing. So you can have money. And they had celebrity, I'm not going to bring up the celebrity names, but celebrity names attached to it. You could be beautiful and get cheated on. You can have the money get cheated on. You could be this, that, and the other, and get cheated on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of women that believe, if you're cute, that should be enough. Cute and interested in them, that should be enough. I don't believe it's not enough. Again, that falls in that 3-time rule.
No.
After the 3rd time, you're cute. Okay, that cute shit is over with. Let's get into something else.
No, I believe you've got to connect, because I haven't experienced, but I've known situations where couples, they were together for 5 years, didn't make it to the altar.
Long time.
Yeah, separated, and that man met this woman and within about 6 months married her. So, and I saw the woman, devastated and upset or whatever. And again, that's why I really make the statement, different people bring out different things in different people. I think somewhere that woman that he married within a 6-month time, he saw what it was that did it for him, what he connected with her, and it was not a second thought to marry her. Maybe within that 4 or 5 year period of dating that woman, there was growth, but I do believe red flags were issued, signs were given, they were overlooked, they weren't acted on at that particular time, and it was just basically beating a dead horse. So you got to determine, when you're dealing in a relationship, what is your end goal? What are we going to, want to come from this situation? What are we wanting to do? You do have to have the real discussions, especially at this stage of the game. You got to have the real discussions, the real talks, and be honest and open about your goals. And if this is something that you feel like you can thrive in, and this is something that you feel like when you're with that person, you're home. You don't get that with everybody. So if, you get that, you can meet somebody and be with them and work on it, meet somebody tomorrow and bam, it's there. There is not effort. It's there. So
and
now
then you leave or cheat.
Well, no, a lot of times when they're cheating, they're not cheating for that. They're cheating for other reasons, is from the consensus from what I gather, depending on your age bracket too. So, it's different reasons. In your 20s, men cheat for different reasons. 30s, cheat for different reasons. 40s, cheat for different reasons. 40 and up.
Now. Let me think. I guess.
Okay. Granted, at this stage of the game, if you're in a relationship, if you step out of that relationship because you have the intellect, the life experience, the exposure to the world, if you were to step out of that relationship, you've thought about this. It wasn't necessarily just for the act or the physical part of it. You, at the age where you have things to lose, things are on the line here. So if you make that decision, you're making it for specific reasons. In your 20s, yeah. In your 20s, you're not thinking about that. What you got to lose? You saw some ass, you wanted that ass, and you want to hit it. What do you have to lose? We ain't dabbling into the real estate, cars, businesses, on the line. We're not there yet, as opposed to when we're in our 40s and 50s. So, what do you have to lose? So when you make that decision,
if you're dating or even married, if you're married at 20, let's just say, you still have things to lose. It's not like you may not have as many things to lose. And then you might, depending on how successful you are.
But then your life exposure is not as long in this game either. So you may not see things the way you would in your 40s and 50s. And they still cheat. They cheat in their 50s and their 60s. So,
you see a young piece of hot ass and hey.
And then, different reasons. Can I?
Do I still have it?
Do I still have it?
there's a lot of women getting in trouble with that shit.
How so?
That they can't do. I still got it, shit, and you know, and they'll. I realize that some women just are flirtatious outside of the relationship because they want to see. They want to see if they still have it.
Okay.
But that can get you in some shit because it can turn into more than just flirtation. Trying to see if you still got it.
These men still want to see if they still got it, and they know damn well they don't. They know damn well they
there
don't.
You go.
They know damn well they don't.
Oh no!
And when I say that, I say that to say, now when we start dealing with the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, we've got some physical ailments kicking in, and we're on medication, and things are being, tainted with. So they feel like, if I could pull through this, then I still got it. When they know damn well when they get there, they got a little blue pill. And when they get there,
they got a little blue pill now.
When they get there, they know you got to take that sucker within a certain amount of time. And then it's got to be, and they don't disclose it either, And then when you get there, and then the disappointment comes, and then they know damn well you knew that shit wasn't working before you got here. You just hoped and prayed that it would. So, it goes.
But that's some people now. That's some people now. Some people ain't never took that blue pill like me.
Okay.
Never really needed that blue pill.
I understand.
And then there's some young people out here that's taking that blue pill too. So, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know about that. But,
yeah, well, that's what I've heard.
Oh, wow. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's hard out here in
I've
these
heard
streets.
From them. Yeah, they take the blue pill. 20-something taking the blue pill.
They got to be on some medication.
Yep. The blue pill.
In order to need the blue pill, you got to be on some kind of medication. That's something that's affecting you that you need to take that blue pill, that they can't make that thing work. Bless their hearts. And if they are, they bless their hearts, because I don't know how you're going to go another 20, 30 years.
That blue pill.
That blue pill, bless their hearts. That's all I can say. I pray for them.
If you need to take your little blue pill or your red pill or the purple pill or whatever pill you need to take, now's the time I guess you should go and grab that pill. We're going to take a little break, and we will be back with Cinnamon after this.
Raw Fusion.
Let's get into who we're talking to here.
Okay.
One thing, I've known you since high school, and very beautiful young lady.
Thank you.
Welcome. It's the truth. And you've owned businesses before, several. Business is a big thing with Raw Fusion these days. And now you are selling something to get that fat off your ass.
Get you snatched. Yes.
Tell me about this.
Well, it's called Bye Bye Belly. And there are two major items, which it's basically a wellness company of the gist, but we offer a tea and a juice, and which we call our Get Snatched tea and our Get Snatched juice. And for the men,
get you snatched how?
Get you snatched.
Snatch that.
Yeah, sent you in that way.
Get you some snatch.
Get you some snatch. but for the men, we do not discriminate. For the men, we have what we call our Gut Buster, which is a juice, and the men, I tell you, are loving the item because men and women, we gain weight differently. And because we are the bearer of children, our weight tends to go different places. Where you'll find with men, they'll go towards the belly, hence the beer belly. And in our Get Snatched juice for the women, it helps to target the areas to which women gain fat, and it has some healthy vitamins, and everything is all natural. And the tea is a detox tea, which helps to cleanse the body, but the gut buster for the men, it provides them with the aid to shrink the belly. Also, too, it gives them some extra additives, which helps libido in men, and it helps. Yeah, it has a lot of other nutrients. That's why it's really geared and focused towards the male. And it's really, I mean, it's new, but when I tell you it's doing wonders for a lot of people, it absolutely is. And I'm not one, and you got to know me well enough to know I don't really get behind anything unless I honestly feel like it's something that is good or healthy, but also you're getting good results. So I did my research and experience as well, and I love the product. I take it myself, and I do have a lot of men. Is up. Well, you know, hey, you know,
getting snatched. Okay.
Getting snatched. Right.
Get snatched. Okay.
It's Bye Bye Belly with cinnamon, and if anyone would want to contact me, they can email me at byebyebelly with cinnamon, like the spice, CINNAMON @gmail.com. And I can ship out. Okay. But our teas are $35 and the juice is $50 and the gut buster for the man is $50. And I'll give you a gallon and you'll drink it during the week. And I tell you, it's making a difference and people are shrinking and you don't even have to do major changes. You just add this to your life.
Okay. So you are dropping that fat and getting your horniness up.
And then dropping
Go
it
ahead
like
and
hot. I'm sorry.
Backing it up.
I digress. Yeah, backing it up.
All right. See, this is the reason why I'm like I am. I was influenced by a lot of people at a young age.
Great people.
And you see,
great people. Great
yeah, yeah. All right. This is the environment that I grew up in. Right here, drop it like it's hot. So go ahead and get you some Bye Bye Belly. Hit up Cinnamon.
Yeah.
She is as spicy as her name is. And that's her real name, actually. Very spicy. Get you some Bye Bye Belly, and yeah, she is great person. Great person. I only like to have great people on the show. One of the things when I decided to come back with this, of course, I had a TV show on PBS, and we had a lot of, the big names and that sort of thing. I wanted to, when I left TV, one of the reasons why I even thought about going back to TV is the fact that we had more of those big names. And I realized that they really don't need any more promotion. I mean, they're known, many of them household names. I thought my biggest mistake was not bringing in other people as well to give them that type of promotion. So one of my goals was to bring great people on, and I'm really starting with people that grew up with me. So hey, it's great to have you on the show.
Well, thank you. Happy to be here. Happy to have the ability to have conversation with you for one. And I'm grateful that you've given this platform to allow us regular folks who are out here trying to do big things as well.
There's nothing regular about you, Cinnamon.
I appreciate that. I'm going to receive it.
Oh, we're going to get serious again in a minute and get back to the subject after this break. And we're going to hit the phone lines and see what you guys think. More with Cinnamon right here on King B's Raw Fusion. Previously on Raw Fusion.
And everybody focuses on the federal government, but every level of government, city, state, county, whole bunch of corporations, we're all giving out money to help because small businesses, really keep the economy afloat. Yes. So they were going to be giving out money. And so we had done very well with processing multiple applications in the past. We actually are the premier firm in the city for doing marijuana applications.
Okay. Don't miss a minute of King B's Raw Fusion. Make sure you subscribe for free to King B's Raw Fusion podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. What's up? Who's this?
This is Shonda J.
Welcome to the show, Shonda J.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
So why do you think that men and women are at odds with each other so much these days?
Oh, I think it's so many answers to that, but one in particular I can think of is because women have been so strong for so long, and we were just waiting for men to take the lead.
It's interesting to hear someone say that they want the man to take the lead. I think too often there's women saying that they want to be equal to a man.
Well, me in particular, I'm not trying to be equal to a man, but I would like for a man to take the lead in the correct way.
Okay, but when men take the lead, then they're accused of being bossy and controlling or something like that. So what is the correct way?
That doesn't mean being bossy, but leading by example and not so many ways I can answer this. The correct way is just being a man. Women are built to carry the heavy load. Women are built to be the man's help, not carry the load. So we could take on your burdens as far as, listening and helping and taking the lead, but we don't want to take the lead.
Okay. I think I like that answer. All right. Thanks a lot, Shauna J.
All right.
Raw Fusion, what's up?
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you? Who's this?
This is Tori.
Hey, Tori. What's going on?
Nothing much.
Okay, so we're talking about why are men and women at odds with each other so much these days? What do you think?
Nobody can agree completely. It's never going to happen. People have to compromise, and that's one thing I don't think anybody is ready to do.
No compromise. While we're sitting on the fence and just folding our arms and not wanting to budge an inch.
And waiting on the other person to cave in. It's not going to happen.
Very, very interesting. What can we do about that?
I think people need to take some time to figure out what they want, what they can't tolerate, and what they can give up in exchange for something else. Maybe if we had those thoughts completely thought out, then there can be some kind of middle ground for people to work on their relationships.
Sound like we're going to have to get to the negotiation table. Sounds like a plan. I think that will work. Thanks so much for checking out the show.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, lack of communication, lack of knowing what you... it's interesting. Maybe you don't know what you want out of a relationship.
Until you experience and find out. Sometimes you learn what you don't want. But I think read the 5 love languages. The 5 love languages gives a very good insight.
Damn that book. Promote that. I think that all too often we know what we don't want. I think that's a problem. Of course, you want to know what you don't want, but I think we end there. We don't know
what we do want.
What we want, and I think that that's a big problem because we don't investigate within ourselves. What is it that I really want out of a relationship? And if you can't get honest with yourself, I don't think there's any way that you can expect anyone else to give you what you want. You're just walking aimlessly through life. It's like, if you want to get something to eat, you can spend 100 pounds trying to figure out what the hell I want to eat because you're eating everything. But when you know what you want and know where what you want is, you get up and go or get it delivered or whatever it is that you want to do to get what you want. But you kind of got to know what you want.
I think you've got to spend time with self. You got to make a conscious decision to spend time with self and find out some things that you do and don't want. And some of that is learned by vicariously through friends, even though too sometimes you never know how you will react until you're in a situation. But pay attention. I think you just got to pay attention. Pay attention to your day-to-day. Pay attention to your reactions and feelings when things happen to friends of yours. That's a way to kind of learn of what you want to experience and don't want to experience, because the thought of hearing what they went through, it doesn't feel good to you. That's something you really don't want to deal with. So I think that's a way. And then when you enter, a relationship, I think just have honest conversation and make the decision. If we come to a point that, this is kind of a moment I'm not enjoying, talk about it. Talk about it. Because sometimes that person may not even know that they're creating, that situation or creating that feeling in you. So talk about it. That's where communication comes in.
And if they don't respond, then get rid of them quickly.
Well, first time is what? Shame on you. Second time is shame on me. So if I come to you and I
Fool
let
me
you
once.
know, fool me twice.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Well, you just can't fool me anymore.
Shame on me. I'm not going to continue to keep getting fooled. I think, person can make mistakes. And sometimes, when you haven't been in a relationship for a long time, you tend to get used to moving at a certain speed on your own. It's a little bit of an adjustment where you're having to take someone else's thoughts and feelings into consideration. You got to adjust to that. So, it's a learning curve with it. But if we communicate and I express to you my thoughts and my feelings about it, and I make you aware, you're aware of it, and it going forward, you do it again, then I got to take a look at this. Boom, red flag, hello, and say if this is something that I want to continue visiting, because the chances are pretty great that this will continue.
But it was all so simple when we first started. It was just about great sex. And
well, I mean, then we make, if that's what we're going to do, then let's keep it at that.
It's more than just good sex. See, I told you that.
Well,
I think there's a lot of factors.
Because if we're going to keep passing, if that's what we're going to keep doing, somebody, somewhere, and a lot of times men do, start capturing, emotion with it. Somebody is. So we can't keep doing this and no one has feelings.
Why not? That would be so wonderful, wouldn't it?
I don't know. Ask these men out here, because they just tend to get, they talk that talk and then they get mad when the phone rings and you don't answer. I was busy, They start to think that.
Busy getting snatched.
Backing that thing up.
They be giving all that snatched away.
Hey, don't hate the player. Don't hate the player, hate the game. That's what we do.
Okay, player.
That's what we doing.
You think you still from Chicago. That's the problem.
I know.
Cinnamon, I appreciate you being on the show.
No problem.
Finally.
Mm-hmm. No, right?
Yeah, shy ass. And ladies and gentlemen, go get yourself some of that bye belly tea
and juice.
Get rid of the belly and get your freak on.
Hey, sorry, keeps coming out.
It's Raw Fusion. It's time to talk some shit with King B on the King B's Raw Fusion podcast. The great thing about relationships is they just keep on giving. We just scratched the surface. We could do shows for years just off that topic alone. Many different facets to it. But I think when it all comes down to it, we do have a responsibility, if we're going to be in a relationship, to do some sort of compromise. A lot of the media tells us not to compromise anything. And that's bullshit. And they are bullshitters. The truth of the matter is that with any relationship, there's going to be some sort of compromise. How much you're willing to compromise becomes the ideal. Instead of going into relationships just wanting what we want, maybe we should be trying to find someone that we can compromise with and get a lot of what we want. Being selfless instead of selfish is a great ideal. But are we being taught that? Is that part of our society these days? That's a bigger issue. And I guess we'll deal with that another time. I'm King B. And this is King B's Raw Fusion. Raw Fusion.